Hi, how are you doing? My name is Justin, and I just wanted to make a video. Yeah, it just there's been some things or some thoughts in my mind that I feel like would be good to share, and just yeah, I guess my prayer is that some of the thoughts that I have right now that I want to share with you. My prayer is that the people that are listening to this, it would be beneficial and it would be inspirational, and it would be that God would use it most of all. Um, but just a lot of times, you know, people get this message from God, or just this thought, or the God has like implanted something into their heart for them to do, and it's really small. Typically, it's really small, and a lot of times people don't realize the benefit, or just the like don't realize that what they God is calling them to do is so like the impact and the resolution of like what they're doing is so contagious and so big and so um, it could really do a lot bigger things than what they realize. I feel like I'm an example of that. Um, well, I didn't do anything, but like somebody that was in my life, somebody who was there in my life, God had called them. I know for a shadow of a doubt that God had called them to like reach out to me, and I think that they don't realize, or they didn't realize at the time that what they were what they did was going to do anything, or what like was going to do anything really of value. They were just doing what God was calling them to do. And a lot of times when God calls us to do something, um, it's for a reason. It's not for some little reason. Even if how small, no matter what it is, um, it is influential. It's big. Let me give you an example of just what's going on. So a lot of times, like just imagine that you're in a field. You just imagine that you're in a cornfield, or just a garden, for example, and the soil is just rich and it's fertile and you can grow a lot in it. Um, you know, and imagine that those plots of dirt, like circular plots of dirt that are in the soil, are people, or people's lives, or people, um, or people that don't know Christ, or people that just are just are weak in their faith, for example. And a lot of times, in people's lives, um, because the good Lord loves everybody. He will he will shovel out. There's things that people keep inside of them. There's things that people like revolve their life around, whether it be a girlfriend, or whether it be just an ideology, or whether it be fame or money or whatever. Like there's things in that soil, like those plots of dirt, that take the place of like what God should be taking of. So a lot of times, like through external means in people's lives, um, those things will be dug out of them. Um, they will be uprooted from people's lives. And when that happens, there's a hole, and there's a hole, and that hole is a sign of vulnerability. That hole is a sign of intended weakness, because there needs to be a hole in order for God to fill. So people will be vulnerable, and people will be empty, because those things that God has got, like the things that they've wanted to fill themselves up with, are gone. God has uprooted them. He has taken them out of their life. They have nothing. They're vulnerable. They're weak. So sometimes what will happen? No, actually, most of the time this will happen. I'm not saying sometimes. I'm saying all the time. Um, God will call people, like that are walking along the field, um, and He will call them. He will put a thought, or He will put a instruction, or whatever you want to call it. He will put something on people's heart, like they have a bag of seeds. They have a bag of seeds, and God will call them to plant seeds into other people's life. Now, seeds are small. Seeds are minuscule. And like, you know, if you were to look at a seed, sometimes the biggest trees or the biggest plants in the forest come from very, very tiny seeds. They come from very, very tiny seeds. They're minuscule, they're small. And in the moment when God calls you to plant those seeds into the ground, and God calls you to plant those seeds in the vulnerable parts of people's life, we do not realize the value and we do not realize the impact that we are making on other people's lives. Because as soon, like, we plant that seed and we tend to it, God will call you to plant that seed into somebody's life. And God will call you not only to plant that seed in people's life, but to tend for it and to take care of it. Because just planting a seed, the seed's going to die. And God does something for a reason. He does something. Once God will start a good work, He will complete it until the very end. So, God will call people to plant seeds, but not only to plant seeds, but to water it, to nurture it, to grow it up. And then once it is able to grow up, once it is able to become big, it will produce fruit, and that fruit will produce seeds. So, like, I want us to let you know that if God is called to do something in somebody's life, to plant seeds, it is for a reason. It is not small. It is not insignificant. Even though no matter how insignificant that you feel it is not. Now, as an example in my life, I'll just share generally, just the example in my life is that I was at a place maybe 4 years ago where God was doing, He's doing that vulnerability work in me. He was tearing things out of me that I wanted to hold on to. Pride. He was humbling me. He was taking out those insecurities. He was uprooting them from my life in the moment. And God had called somebody in my life to be able, in that place of insecurity, in that place of where that vulnerability was, God had called somebody to plant a seed in my life. He had planted word. He had spoken word to me, and He planted that seed in my life. And not only did He plant it, but He was there nourishing it, and He was there watering it with truth. No matter how, He had to have a lot of patience, because a lot of times it's going to take time for that tree to grow. You plant a seed, it's how like nature works. It takes time for that tree to grow, and it takes time for that tree to to be able to be sufficient for itself. It takes time. So because of what somebody did in my life, it was powerful, and I just want to let you know, like, whoever's out there or whatnot, if God calls you to do something, it is not small, it is not minuscule, it is not insignificant, because it is powerful, and He does stuff for a reason. So I wanted to encourage you today to live by that. So if there's anything that's going on, I would love to pray for you. God bless you. Thank you.